to the first game in this best of 5 series between Chirpas and Goodstah. We're sitting pretty in Group 3, and we're in the second round of the tournament for the Australian Open. And we're also sitting in Division B. So we have, like I said, we have Goodstah and we have Chirpas. So let's take the fog of war off, uncover our eyes, and see that it's not actually a water map, which is fantastic to see, even though there is a little bit of a pond here. Don't be fooled, guys. Don't be fooled. It is not a water map. So let's go ahead and introduce the players and see what we have to watch out for in this game. So down to the south of the map, playing in the blue, we have Goodstah, and he has randomed the Persians today. Spectator Grush. Let me turn the chat off so I don't get Pyro saying stuff at all. And his opponent today, up to the north of the map, playing in the red, is Chirpas, who obviously has also randomed, or team randomed, I guess you could say, the Persians as well. Now, the first map here, it's quite easy to see that it is not a grushable map. Turn off team colors. Are they just blue and red anyway? No, they're not. But if Pyro wants team colors turned off because Goodstah is playing in the pink, then team colors shall be turned off. Now, of course, the civilization, the the map settings for the first the the first settings for the settings for the first map rather, team random, blind random as well. So the team random we've gone over. The blind random means that we have actually, or we're seeing a gold rush map. And this is exactly what we wanted to see, because Gold Rush, A, it's not water, and B, it's kind of fun because it forces all the aggression to the center of the map, and C, where are all the wolves? Those are deer. Where the hell are the wolves on this one? Wolf, 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 wolf. All the wolves that, oh, there are deer there too. Okay, so we have quite a lot of wolves on Gold Rush, which is always fun because sometimes you do, sometimes we do see wolf rushes, which is, I don't know, I don't really know Goodstah, I don't really know Chirpas that well. I think Goodstah was one of the players that decided to delete his walls at the front of his base in Arena, which means, hey, he could be into some funky different sort of strategies, non-meta strategies. And if we have a quick look at his scouting, damn it, he hasn't actually scouted the, the wolves yet. But anyway, before I rattle on about that stuff too much, let's go ahead and have a look at the maps of these players here, as it might give us some sort of indication as to what they might be planning. So looking at Chirpas's map here, he's got his, the gold that isn't in the center of the map. His gold in his base is toward the back of his TC, the back of his base rather, which is going to be really easy, really nice for him to defend as well. He's got a wood line at the back of his base, as well as pretty much all this area back here that he has nice and safe and secure for himself to take wood. Stone out on the front of the map, both of his stones actually out on the front of his map, and I believe this is reminiscent of Mothump's map when he played Grand Nagus on Arena as well. Sorry, not Arena, Gold Rush. He had both of his stones out to the front of his base, and they were on pretty nasty hills. Obviously, stone not too important in terms of military production buildings for the Persians, as we don't normally expect to see ballerinas, which is more or less spoilers, Matty. I suppose technically it is spoilers, but I suppose that, yeah, okay, now, yeah, okay, I suppose there are spoilers, but I didn't tell who won or anything like that. But we can see Chirpas now moving out to the center of the map, sort of, well, into the center to take deer. He's going to have to be careful because there are 4 wolves here. Does he have loom? He does have loom, but still 4 wolves could do quite a bit of damage if Chirpas decides to move over here and take those deer there. And what about Goodstah's map? Well, again, he does have a nice wood line at the back of his base, and again, it's a pretty simple wall off, to be honest with you. It's pretty easy. Just plonk some palisades across there, plonk some buildings or palisades here, and he's going to be nice and walled up on the right-hand side. And again, maybe just wall off there and walling off back here as well, and that'll keep him nice and safe on the left. His gold he has, again, very, very close to his TC. I really hope for elephants as well like this. I very, very much do. We can see, shit, that's a far out lumber camp from Goodstah. Very interesting decision to place his lumber camp out there. Maybe he's under the impression that, hey, Chirpas is no way in hell ever going to look out here, so it's going to be quite nice and safe. I think Decurion Bot agrees. I imagine Decurion Bot would agree indeed. His stones, however, for Goodstah, just like his opponent, quite a ways away from his town centre. But again, although people are hoping in the chat that we see ballerinas as the main army here for the Persian players, I feel like we won't. I feel like if they follow the meta, It will go to hand cannons, it will go to halberdier, and it will go to bombard cannons as well the later this game progresses. Of course, these games can genuinely be over pretty, pretty early. Sometimes they can go late, but a lot of the time they can go early or be over early as well, because again the aggression is forced toward the center of the map, where we can see where the majority of the gold is. In terms of the placement, the distance that both these guys are going to have to go to get to the center to get the gold, I would say it looks slightly in favor of Chirpus. I mean, he does obviously have to traverse up this hill to be able to try and plonk down TCs or castles or anything anywhere around this gold, but it looks to be just a little bit closer, at least for the first instance of getting to the first gold in the centre. And he's getting dangerously close to these walls over here. Goodstah having clicked up to the feudal age now, but that's not what I want to look at for the time being. I want to look at whether or not, well, he definitely knows, he has scouted the fact that the wolves are here, and he's getting dangerously close to getting those wolves aggroed to come and grab him as well. So like I said, Goodstah up to the feudal age now, with Chirpus clicking up as well, just now rather, on 25 villages for Chirpus and 23 for Goodstah. Now my question is, what are these guys going to go ahead and do? We can see 3 villages out to gold for Goodstah, and he'll be chucking up a barracks out on the front of his base, potentially denied or a little bit delayed here by Chirp, and indeed Chirp's coming in here. He's going to get a few love hits, a few love taps on that female village, and he's just going to continue to do it as well. Goodstah would have done well. Oh, here we go. This is what we wanted. There's got to be a villager death here. There are 2 wolves. Granted, they are fighting uphill, but this could be dangerous. This could be a villager down. Woo woo woo! If anyone is subbed to T90, please, dear God, get the woo woo woos in the chat, because 1 villager goes down. It could be looking like another villager. No, that wolf is dead. There's another wolf getting involved as well. Is he going to target the weak villager? Yes, he is, but he's going to get battered to death by these two by these 2 villagers here. Oh, goodness me. Only one casualty for Gaia, and all that time, Goodstah has gone ahead and chucked up a barracks back at home. Like I said, 3 villages out to gold for him and an archery range. A stable. Okay, I was expecting an archery range coming up. 3 villages, normally the stock standard to send out initially to go and do archers, but no, he's opting for a stable. He's opting for a stable blacksmith. Maybe he's looking to go for a fast castle, and indeed, it actually looks like he could be looking along those tracks. Of course, he does not actually have the amount of farms nor the amount of food income to be able to get himself up to the castle age. Whereas on the other hand, our other man here, Chirpus, the player in the red, going for the stable blacksmith as well, and he will be probably in a better position to click up to the castle age once he gets the food coming in from these deer. Of course, those wolves putting a little bit of a stint, putting a little bit of a damper on his fast castle plans, but he should still be up in a good enough time as he moves more villages out to gold. So obviously, with the stable coming up, we would be expecting knights from the red Persian player to the north of the map. Both of these guys, again, looking like they're going for a fast castle sort of build. It is worth noting that Goodstah is still open on the left, and he is still also open on the right-hand side of his base. And neither player, obviously, sort of expected, but neither player moving toward the center of the map yet. Flightless brings up a very good point. It is quite easy to wall up and go for a fast castle, but I don't like doing it. I prefer to be able to go ahead and chuck out some scouts and do some early damage, but that's because I'm a noob and I just like being aggressive. But we can see a couple of scouts having been queued up for Goodstah. Obviously, this is not what he wanted to do. He did not want to be making these scouts, but his build not really setting himself up well enough to go for the fast castle, so deciding, hey, I might as well get some scouts out, might as well grab +1 armor on these bad boys and see what villages, or see what damage I can do. And if he does come over here and scout these berry villages, there's a couple of weak hunters here that he could get in there and start picking off. And here we go. This is going to be 1 villager down as well. Goodstah, so far, his decision to go for scouts is paying off in dividends, and he needs it to, with 5 villages difference between the 2 players, and now 4, and now 3 villages different. Now 3 villages difference. Oh, it could even just be 2 villages. This is quite a huge play here from Goodstah. The scouts have actually started to pay off quite well for him indeed. Unfortunately, what's going on at the back? Well, he's also getting attacked by the scout of Chirp, but Chirp is not going to be able to take anything down there as well. or at all. A second stable now coming up for Chirp as well as Bloodlines comes in for him. Now, if Goodstah's paying attention, he should be able to get round here and at the very least delay the stable. That villager again has to hightail it back to the town centre, and Goodstah only has a little bit of time before in which he can do damage, because once the Castle Age upgrade hits, Camels Knights are going to be able to come out from our red player Chirpus here, and he's going to be able to clean up this army inside of his base quite easily. But in saying that, look at that, 23 villagers to 24. These scouts are starting to pay off in a big way for our player in the pink from the south of the map. Goodstah here, 23 villagers to 24. Not really sure how Goodstah has only got 23 villagers at this stage in the game. I guess his TC had gone a bit idle and he's throwing away his scouts now inside the economy of Chirpus, who is now up to the Castle Age. But Goodstah actually clicking up in a relatively nice time as well, throwing up a market to buy himself up. And that was a bit of a little bit messy, a little bit unfortunate for Chirpus as he's going for camels. Camels obviously going to be a great counter to the knights that he has scouted, I imagine. Yep, well, I suppose he knows the stable is up anyway, since he had scouts buzzing around the side of his base. But a couple of camels coming out with +1 armor on the way, and I believe Bloodlines was completed for Chirpus on the way up to the Castle Age as well. Why no Grush in the lakes? It makes no sense. Yeah, I suppose there's not really too much deep sea fish that he can really, or that they're really going to be fighting over. Chirpus' scout here, we can see +1 defense having been done on him, as well as Bloodlines. Now the 2 stable knights may be a little bit optimistic for the time being, since he doesn't really have the economy to support 2 stable knights, as well as going for, as well as trying to keep villager production coming out. But in saying that, out come the camels, or at least up. The camels are starting to be queued up here as well, and I feel like Goodstah has made some good progress into damaging his opponent. He's still got a hole in his wall. I'm sure this is a hole. There's got to be a hole on this hill here. But here we go, Chirpus releasing the hordes, and out they go. Looks like I came almost in time. Well, you're in time to see some camels pushing out across the map from Chirpus, and you're in time to see Goodstah getting into the Castle Age. Let's see what else you're in time for. Are we seeing any camels coming out straight away? We're seeing a knight, and we are seeing a camel, and we're also seeing a Goodstah villager about to get absolutely destroyed by 2 wolves. So that means that Gaia is actually going to have two kills to their name. Now, are we seeing any extra town centers coming up for these guys here? Well, so far, Chirpus, no. Oh, I'm saying that. This could be no, it's a lumberjack. Okay, so Chirpus, no. Goodstah, no. So no extra, oh, I lie. Goodstah putting up the town center out to the left-hand side of his map at all, which is quite nice for him because he is sitting 6 villagers behind so far. Oh my god, is that villager not going to die? No, that villager's dead, surely. One more hit. There we go. Yep, the village died. So we are going to see that. How the hell? There's the hole. Where's the hole? The hole's on the left-hand side. And the town centre from from Goodstah getting denied here. Really nice pick. Really nice timing for the camels to start coming in here for Chirpus. And Chirpus grabbing 2 villager picks, pulling the villager lead to 9 in his favour so far. And again, these camels, this is AOC, so they are going to be taking a lot more extra damage from the town centre in any other arrow fire. But in saying that, they've started to pay off these camels. They're getting a bit of idle time in the economy here of Goodstah as he quickles in his wood, at least, half of his wood. Just in time to explore some dank streams. Yes, indeed. What are we seeing? A spearman going down. 2 spearmen going down for the +1 bloodlined camels here. And what is Goodstah doing with his army? Well, his meager army of a knight, a scout, and I'm going to have to turn team colours back on. The red and the purple starting to look a little bit confusing for me. Sorry, Pyro. The quick wall's coming in on the wood line there of Goodstah as he pushes out across the map. To see what damage he can do, well, he's going to find that Chirpus is up on 2 TCs, whereas he still has not managed to get his extra town centre up for the time being. He's also going to find that Chirpus has got how many camels? He's got 4 camels nearly. Well, he's got 4 camels completed with another camel on the way as well. So these 3 cavalry units here from Goodstah not going to be able to do enough at all. The camels inside of Goodstah's base getting cleaned up now as well from hang on. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Chirpus's knights inside of Goodstah's base getting cleaned up, and Chirpus taking the fight out on the front of his base as well. So right now Chirpus looking in a really nice position as he pulls ahead in the villager count by 13. villager count in his favor. Now it's 14. Village count in his favor, military count in his favor as well. And we can see now that Goodstah moving further out to the left-hand side of his economy. What is he trying to do? Is he trying to put up another town centre far out on the left-hand side? Well, he has no resources to do it for the time being. And this scout cavalry has just been a complete and utter nuisance to Goodstah for pretty much the whole of the feudal and castle age. So Goodstah going to send a couple of camels out there to clean that up as quickly as he can. Now Chirpas' economy is starting to look really, really nice as Goodstah grabs forging as well. Interesting. Does he have chain barding? I don't think he does. So he doesn't have chain barding. He's going for +1 attack over the +1 defense for the time being, and I suppose it makes a little bit of sense as he is primarily defending for the time being. He's not trying to go for any raids. He's just trying to get the enemy units out of his base for the time being, and he's finally plugging up that hole on the right-hand side. Neither of these players up to 3 town centres yet, but of course 47 villages to 34. Oh, there we go. There's the 3rd town centre now coming up on the front, and this is the first sort of this is first sort of foray into the center of the map, which I think is what Tomb is saying in the chat as well, but nothing in the middle. Should go for a TC there. Indeed he is. Goodstah taking the first steps, taking the initiative, posting a couple of military units out here to protect his building villages, and he starts to take a little bit of map control in the center of the map, which of course is where all the aggression, like I've said before, is going to start to come in as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how long he can hold it. It's going to be interesting to see how long it takes Chirpas to realize that, hey, I should be heading into the center of the map as well. We can see 2 villagers going over to stone for Chirp at the moment, which indicates that maybe, just maybe, he wants to try and get a castle up. I meant for Chirpas. Well, I meant for Goodstah. So maybe Chirp wants to start thinking about a castle to secure some area in the center. But for the time being as well, he's sending some stationary camels into the economy of Goodstah, and he's playing a very strong game here, Chirp. He's just idling the crap out of these villages inside the town center, and he's playing it very, very smart and very, very clever as well. Now again, knights and camels, knights from Goodstah trying to take a fight against the camels from Chirp. And now camels from Goodstah being brought in to try and help out on the front lines as well. Pikemen being researched for Chirpas. Interesting upgrade. I suppose, like I said, the meta for the Persians does kind of evolve into the halberdier line, but it'll be interesting to see how far along it's going to take Chirpas to get to that stage. As we can see, he's starting to just try and house his opponent, I guess, which is interesting because he's actually housed at the moment as well. Another barracks coming up on the front for Chirp, with scale mail armor and pikemen coming in, so it looks like he's maybe going to be wanting to post some more defensive measures and maybe step out into the center of the map and see what's going on under cover of the protective pikemen, but we'll have to wait and see. Of course, he is still only on 2 town centers, but he is still 10 villages ahead of his opponent. Now, Goodstah is quite heavily on stone, maybe indicating that he wants to get a castle up in the center and start getting a pretty decent hold on the center of the map. And it is worth pointing out, of course, that a lot of the gold that Chirp is going to want to take control of potentially is going to be right here, which is quite close. It's starting to branch into Goodstah territory, and Goodstah, of course, if he gets his castle up first, which it's almost likely that he will, since he does have more villages out on the stone than his opponent, is probably going to be able to put up a castle in this location here and put him in a really, really nice spot. Of course, if then Chirp does decide to delete this mill, put up a castle here, then he's going to have the advantage going into treb wars and bombard cannon wars in the Imperial Age. So in that case, it is literally going to be an uphill battle for Goodstah, as the more map control that he loses out in this part here, the harder it's going to be for him to fight that battle going up. Anyway, after I prattle on about that for a little bit, we can come down to the south of the map and see that Chirpas is trying to bust his way into his opponent's economy here, although to be fair, there is still a hole and he can still run straight through the TC here anyway. But he could be in for a bit of a trap, could be in for a bit of a surprise. What are the upgrades like on both of these guys? Well, Iron Casting for +2 attack is now... Hang on, for +2 attack has just been researched for Chirp. I'm not really sure of the numbers here or the hill advantage, but it looks like it's going to be more or less an even trade here. Any camels that are left over from either player not really going to be able to do too much damage for anything else, as we can see that Chirp is looking to defend quite heavily against a little bit of a foray, a little bit of a contingency of cavalry units from Goodstah pushing into his base. With camels, with pikemen, I mean, those cavalry units are just going to get chewed up and spat back out straight away. And actually, this was a pretty decent fight over here for Goodstah, as he's managed to clean up that little bit of pressure from his opponent. Goodstah also now sending some villagers out to the right-hand side, just outside, just on the borders here of Chirp's base, meaning that he might be looking for some sneaky forward stables or some maybe sneaky forward barracks. But of course, Mother Nature, the wolves getting in here, picking off a villager from Goodstah, making it 76 villagers to 60. And again, another villager going down as well. Gaia is having an effing field day today, and of course there's nothing else going on the map, so let's just have a look. Nope, 2 villagers remain. It's taken 4 villagers to take down 3 wolves. Now, are either of these guys nearly up to the Imperial Age? Goodstah going for men-at-arms as he tries to throw up a forward castle inside there, or just outside of his forward TC, and this is the position that I was thinking that Chirp was wanting to go ahead and plonk his castle down. Of course, this castle is going up. There is no denying this at all. Pikes and camels having been posted just ahead, or just north or south, just in front of this castle here to try and stop any cavalry, any units from Goodstah pushing in. And of course, looks like Goodstah's castle might actually be denied here as well, because this is a fight. This is a fight that Goodstah cannot take. And the castle from Chirp going up, and just like that, he's secured himself 3, maybe 3.5 sections of this big main gold in the center of the map. A bit of siege coming forward from the forward siege workshop from Chirp, looking to take down the castle, looking to really start putting the pressure in on his opponent here. And like I said, the long swordsman line, it's kind of weird, to be honest. I'm not really sure what he's doing. Maybe he was looking for some sort of a counter to the pikes, by which I would say get up to the Imperial Age and then go hand cannons. But not really sure what's going on with the long swords. It's a bit interesting, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, it is a bit interesting. And Chirp having the resources to click up to the Imperial Age now. Not really sure why he isn't, but it looks like he's in a very, very demanding position. As the weak, as the timid hold that his opponent Goodstah held over the center of the map is slowly slipping away. Chirp is throwing up 2 more barracks on the front line as well. That castle won't last long versus longswords. Of course not longswords, obviously getting the bonus damage against buildings. Unfortunately for Goodstah, his castle on the front of his base, or out here in the front, is going to get taken down with the battering rams and the pikes and the camels battering in upon it. Chirp also grabbing chain barding armor, finally getting the +2 defense on his camels and cavalry units. Goodstah calling rip. Is that going to be followed with a GG? I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to wait and see. Now, is Goodstah anywhere near the Imperial Age? Well, his food? Yes. His gold? Not so much. Although he is... No, that wasn't Chirpus. That was Chirpus selling. So his gold, not so much in a good position. They do counter all of Chirp's current army. Yeah, they do, but I mean, I'm still not convinced. Once Chirp gets to the Imperial Age and starts, if he does want to go down there, start pumping out those hand cannons, then these longswords are going to do absolutely feck all. And as we can see right now, Chirp clicking up to the Imperial Age as his forward town centre. As he puts pressure on the forward town centre here from Goodstah. Goodstah bringing over a good number of longswords, a good number of camels. Obviously, the longswords, fantastic trash killers. They are going to absolutely eat through these pikes that Chirp's throwing forward at him at the moment, and the camels can just sit behind or sit in front and do the damage to the camels of his opponent. And now Flightless can get a wee bit hyped, because we do see 1 ballerina coming out from Chirp. Was it a misclick? No, because he's making another one as well. So it looks like we could be seeing the ballerina hype. Unfortunately, wrong bind, so we can see that hotkeys are apparently an issue at the moment. For Goodstah anyway, so we can see a couple of war elephants coming out, murder holes coming in for Goodstah, as well as iron casting for a bit of extra attack on his melee units, i.e. for the time being his camels and his long swords. Now these ballerinas are going to be super strong. Also, considering that Chirp is getting out some scorps as well. Now the scorps are going to be fantastic counters to the infantry units here that Goodstah is currently fielding as well. Thumb ring as well as crossbow coming in for... Yeah, okay, sure, we can go for crossbows, why not? Crossbows, fletching, thumb ring. Screw it, why not Chirp? Get everything, mate. Get absolutely everything that you can. And holy crap, how did I miss this? Oh my god, I missed it. Oh my goodness. The two villagers out here on the right-hand side for Goodstah managing to throw up a castle just outside the economy of Chirp, who is now up to the Imperial Age as well. Trebuchet coming out immediately to start whittling away at this castle. And Goodstah also has a couple of war elephants out of his own. We'll have to check back there. Ballerinas. This is Mem's stream. No, I just like how Mem calls them ballerinas. I thought I'd pay homage to one of my favorite streamers, or one of my favorite casters. So anyway, like I was saying, the Scorpion's going to be a fantastic counter to the infantry units from Goodstah, as Goodstah tries to throw up a castle on a hill. I like this. Ed Sheeran would be proud, putting up a castle on the hill. Now, what other upgrades can we see from Chirpas here? Well, he's thrown up archery ranges. Naively, I would think that for the Persians, that would be for hand cannons, but no, it looks like he's going down the crossbow line. Interesting, because I don't think Persians actually get bracer. They do get bodkin arrow, which is what's coming in as well, and as Pyro rightly points out in the chat, they are counters to the longswords, and I do not disagree with that. I just say that perhaps other units coming out of the archery range would be a little more effective. So the trebuchet now firing upon the castle out here on the right hand side from Goodstah, and that's going to be going down in just a moment's time. And another trebuchet coming out on the hill here, firing upon the forward town centre from Goodstah. So Goodstah stuck an age behind, completely out-teched, completely out-militaried, and not completely out-villaged, but he's looking in a very, very dicey situation as well. I can't believe I missed this castle. I knew the villagers were out here as well. You can see the elephants now moving in from Goodstah, looking to see if they can take down a TC. Unfortunately, they're not focus firing on these pikemen here from Chirp, and Chirp manages to clear up that those two elephants inside of his base. Two trebuchets moving a little bit more forward now as Goodstah starts to research pikemen as well, realizing that, hey, if you can't beat him, join him. And unfortunately, he's going to join them and also still get beaten, because the scorpions here, the pikemen, the crossbows, all going to be able to do a decent job at cleaning up the pikemen coming in here as well. Am I starting to drop frames? Yeah, I've dropped 0.3% of frames now, so it might have been a wee bit of buffering just now. It should come fine, I would say. Chirp went up to get Expo. Yeah, that's the only thing I was saying. The Expo may be a little bit superfluous, as he was nearly on his way up to the Imperial Age, and potentially looking like he could have gone ahead and got those hand cannons. But in saying that, he's only just throwing up a university now, so chemistry still has not been done. And for the time being, Chirp just needs something to be able to get rid of these long swords, and in his case, he thinks, hey, let's get scorps, let's get crossbows, because why the hell not? Chemistry now coming in for him as well. Maybe he wants hand cannons. Maybe he wants to see the pretty flaming balls on the trebuchet rocks. But Goodstah mentioning in the chat that maybe he just made too many mistakes, and recognizing that the sun is more or less setting on this first game, as he calls GG and hands the victory over to his Australian counterpart. So well played from Chirpas as he takes the first game. And it will be a 1-0 in this best of 5 series between these two guys. So what we'll do, as always, at the end of every game, we'll come out of it, we'll switch ourselves over to the fantastically beautiful Australian Open overlay, and I'll see you guys very, very soon for game number 2.